So before we get into the article, why don't you just give us a brief introduction about how you got interested in Ortho-K and myopia control?
So I purchased my practice right out of graduate school. So I graduated, I purchased a private practice and in a small town, and I loved practicing. But interestingly enough, I rapidly got bored. So I enjoyed what I was doing, but contact lenses and glasses, it's somewhat stilted, and I wanted something challenging. So I started looking around at something fun. And I've been speaking to Gary Gerber because he was really a lot younger at that time in his practice management stuff. And he said, you should contact this guy named Nick Despeditas, this Dr. Despeditas, and ask to talk to him. And I talked to him, and I decided I wanted to get into this. And I ended up going to the GOS, which was the Global Orthokeratology Symposium, which was in Ontario. I met like Eddie Chow there.
Mm-hmm.
And I was doing some Ortho-K, and I met your dad. As a matter of fact, Kerry Herzberg, an amazing figurehead in Ortho-K, I had a conversation with him in an elevator that was seriously a life-changing conversation. I mean, in 15 floors, I went from someone who was dabbling and partially interested to someone who looked at Ortho-K, and we didn't really realize it was myopia control at that time, as almost a religion. Like it really, that elevator ride like changed everything for me. My wife was with me for that particular convention. I came back and I was like, "Oh, honey, I'm so excited! We're gonna do this and we're gonna do that!" And I was just like blowing up. And my wife was like, "Okay," but I was so enthusiastic about it. And I can't remember if the Chicago GOS came first or the Ontario one came first, but I just remember my excitement was just through the roof. And I came back, and it just like made me so excited about like fitting Ortho-K and being involved in the whole thing. It was magic. And it's
Awesome.
funny how an elevator ride conversation can have that kind of effect for somebody.
Right?
It's just, I mean, it was an elevator ride. That's
Mm-hmm.
crazy. But when I walked out of that elevator, I was like, oh, so excited. I mean, we like paused up at the top floor and stood outside of the room and talked for a while. It was great. It was great.
Mm-hmm. That's
So that
awesome.
kind of is what lit my fire for the whole thing,
Right. Right
you
on.
know.
So
And
tell us. Oh, go ahead.
it's interesting how the Ortho-K community and the myopia control community, and very specifically Vision by Design and the AAOMC, it's amazing to me how you can go to Vision by Design, or you can go to a conference on myopia control, specifically the Vision by Design one, and run into people who are so over the top excited about a specialty. There is
Mm-hmm.
no other specialty in all of eye care where people want you to be successful and to love it as much as Ortho-K and myopia control. Well, there just isn't.
Mm-hmm.
It's
Yeah,
magic.
I agree. And your elevator experience, it's experiences and moments like that that was the inspiration for how we designed Vision by Design, because there's so many other meetings that I've been to, because I've been going to eye care meetings since I was like a snot-nosed kid, like following my parents around. And there's so many meetings where people are very inaccessible. They don't like to talk about their practice. They don't talk about, what's happened in their practice and their experiences. And one of the things that we set out to change about our meeting was we wanted it to be a community, to be accessible, and to be a life-changing experience. So your experience and your participation has definitely made Vision by Design and Bootcamp, part of that whole process.
And I think it's interesting how that wanting to share attitude trickles down. So today I received a referral from a colleague of mine in a neighboring town. And keep in mind, the town I practice in is small. We have 2,000 people in my town. I have a very busy Ortho-K practice and myopia control. So I get referrals from other areas. We'll talk about demographic stuff later, but
Mm-hmm.
this doctor from another town referred a patient to my office today. And she'd seen a one-eye doctor in 2019, one in 2020, and then one in 2021. She'd gone from a 475 to a 750, okay? So she came into my office for consultation with her dad. We talked. I said, we've got these options. We have mechanical options like peripheral defocus, um, and we have Ortho-K, and then we have pharmaceutical options. We have atropine. I talked to him about doing combination therapy for her. And what we're going to do, we're going to combine, in this particular case, peripheral defocus contact lenses and atropine. We're putting a program together for her, measured axial length, got all that stuff done today. But then I called the other doctor to say, hey, thank you for the referral. That was very kind. And I had a whole conversation via text with her about how she wants to get together with me and learn about myopia control and Ortho-K. And rather than look at it as competition, I'm excited. I'm like,
Mm-hmm.
hey, let's get together, bring your partner, we'll talk, we'll go over PowerPoints, we'll discuss it. Because that's how it was taught to me by people
Mm-hmm.
like your father, by people like Tom Washevsky and Rob Garowitz and Eddie Chow, and these people who were so fired up about it. They want Paul Levine, they all, Caroline Kauke, all these people want you to be as excited about it as they are. And
Mm-hmm.
sharing that magic just totally got me excited. I came home for lunch today and I was like, woo! I was talking to my wife. Apparently, I talked to my wife a lot about these things, but I came
Mm-hmm.
home and I was like, this doctor referred to me and I'm excited and we're going to talk and we're going to learn. And I think that continues to carry down, you know, from
Mm-hmm.
people who do this specialty to other people. And so I think you're just 100% right.
Right on, for sure. And you're mentioning like Tom Washevsky and Rob Garowitz and Eddie Chow, and like as I've been in this community for so long, like these guys are like my heroes, in addition to my father and Caroline Kauke for sure, without saying. So like, these people are big names to me and have huge influence over my life and definitely the people that have come into the academy, have come to Vision by Design, and that's what I love is our community and the people in it. So.